My name is Kathleen Uwakwe. I'm a member of Prep 9 Contingent 31, and last week I graduated from Phillips Exeter Academy. After my first day of Prep 9, I returned home with my bag noticeably heavier than when I had first left that morning. I remember feeling excited, but also slightly frightened at the sight of my list of homework assignments. A 45-page reading of Annie John, numerous math problems full of concepts alien to me at the time, SHSAT vocab to review, and more. After that, I knew I was in for a wild ride. For the next 2 months of Prep 9's first summer component, I would get back home from an academically rigorous day of prep classes to the vibrant orange of the setting sun. But the day was far from over for me. I would still be awake working at the dining table long after the streetlights outside had turned off and the moon was high in the sky. After many sleepless nights, I was soon wondering, why am I here right now? What is this all for? Luckily, I was not going through this alone. My sister, Joan Uwakwe, who is 2 years younger than me, was in the Prep for Prep preparatory component at the same time. We would spend the late nights on the opposite ends of our dining table with our homework littered across it. While we worked, our parents would stay awake with us. My mom would help with the math homework, while my dad helped with English and history, and they would take turns switching between the two of us when we inevitably called for their help. During our study breaks, there was always a plate of mouth-watering jollof rice and chicken, ready to provide us the boost we needed to support us for the next subject of homework. The support of my family during these weeks kept me going through some of the toughest parts of the program. However, I would soon face my biggest challenge of Prep 9 by far, the immersion in residence program. For 2 weeks, we sat at boarding school to prepare us for the real thing. We had the same heavy workload, but now there was no sister across the table to share in the misery, and no parents in the living room with jollof rice and other life-saving resources. One day, after returning to my dorm room to finish up some homework, I quickly realized that I couldn't find my copy of Great Expectations, and I had a reading due the next day. This was my last straw. I called my mom from the bathroom, crying and begging her to take me home. To my dismay, she rejected my request to be taken home. Instead, she suggested that I borrow a copy of the book from my roommate. So I was able to get my homework done, and I found a book the next day. Crisis averted. So it was good. Though this all worked out in the end, it made me realize that what I was doing for that first week was not working. I was exhausted. So one day during the break period between dinner time and study hall, rather than using it to get ahead on homework, I took a nap. And when I woke for study hall, I felt glorious. I was able to finish all my homework and get even more sleep that night. From then on, I made sure to always put aside time to take a break. After hearing my testimonies of the magic that was nap time, my roommate and other dorm mates would soon employ this strategy. During our second summer, we found ourselves able to relax after a long day of prep work by watching the horror film, The Conjuring. Such a relaxing evening. Many naps later, and with the support of my family, I was ready to tackle my next challenge, Exeter. During my first year, I experienced many emotions: joy, pride, excitement, but the feeling I remember most was fear. Fear that I would lose my sense of self. Fear that Exeter would not feel like home. Many concerns raced through my mind. Will I make friends? Why is the dining hall chicken so dry? And finally, do I belong here? Later that fall, I learned that Exeter's African Students Association was having a jollof-off. Jollof rice is a popular food in many parts of West Africa. No matter the setting, if you get a group of West Africans together, the classic debate of who makes the best jollof rice is sure to arise. Ghanaians claim their dry and tasteless interpretation is somehow superior to the delicacy that is Nigerian jollof rice. To settle this dispute, members of ASA would form teams to create their family's version of jollof rice and finally determine whose is the best. My team ended up taking second place that day. But What I remember most clearly was how familiar everything felt. The speaker blasted the songs of my favorite Nigerian artists, and the air was thick with the scent of chin-chin, plantain, chicken, and jollof rice. I had found a community on this campus, and it finally started to feel like home. Then COVID. It put a pause on my high school experience. While at home in quarantine, emails seemed to never stop flooding in. The different subject headings only worsened what was already a very bleak situation. People all over the world have experienced so much loss because of this pandemic, and while sitting through Zoom lecture after Zoom lecture, I found myself once again asking, what is this all for? This reminded me of the last time I had asked this question, at the dimly lit dining table cluttered with preparatory homework. Only now, I was taking part in PrEP's public policy internship program. Through this program, I was able to serve as a remote intern for the Staten Island Not-for-Profits Association and for the Office of New York State Senator and PrEP alum, Jabari Brisport. Yeah, sorry, Jabari. Yes. Despite being remote, these experiences opened my eyes to a wide range of occupations that I didn't even know I could be doing in the future. During quarantine, I was also able to spend a lot of meaningful time with my family. Most afternoons, I was in the kitchen helping Mom cook dishes like jollof rice, while my sister took on the dreaded task of cleaning up afterward. Conversations with my parents shifted from solely academics to heartfelt discussions about our thoughts on the state of the world and our personal hopes for the future. ASA meetings still happened weekly, albeit through Zoom, and I found myself laughing on FaceTime calls with my friends well into the night. I still had a strong community supporting me, and this motivated me to take advantage of the time that I had left at Exeter. When we got back to campus, I hit the ground running, literally. In my last 2 years at Exeter, I would become captain of one of the girls' varsity track and field team. I co-founded and led our school's first West African dance team, Afro Shade, and became co-head of the school's African Students Association. It was cool. As a senior, I was able to help wash away the fears of the new students who may have been in the same situation that I was in my freshman year. In my roles as captain, co-head, dorm proctor, and most importantly, a friend, I was able to help make Exeter a home for others. That is what it was all for. With all these experiences to help me, I know that I am ready to start the next chapters of my life, starting this summer with my first paid internship with the global legal organization team at the Colgate-Palmolive Company. Thank you. And this fall at Bowdoin College. With my family always behind me and the lasting friendships I've made over the past 4 years, I know that while Prep 9 has instilled in me the important values, excellence, integrity, commitment, and courage, I also have the unspoken but arguably most important one, community. And I'm so glad that you all are a part of it. Thank you.